Okay, let's talk about something you've probably done 1,000 times without even thinking about it. It's a simple, universal action that connects all of us, from an office worker to, believe it or not, a silverback gorilla.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You walk into a room, you see someone you want to impress, and what do? Instinctively, you tighten your core, you suck in your stomach. We all do it. But have you ever actually stopped and asked yourself, why? Where on earth does that impulse even come from?
Well, it turns out this isn't just about modern vanity or fitting into our clothes. It goes way deeper. It's an evolutionary reflex. Gorillas do the exact same thing. Right before a big display of dominance, a gorilla will puff out its chest, beat on it, and suck in its stomach. It's an ancient, hardwired signal of power.
But, and this is a big but, our modern world has hijacked these ancient signals and twisted them into something else entirely, something we can call the beauty trap. So let's break down where all this dissatisfaction with our bodies really comes from.
I mean, just turn on your TV, scroll through your phone for 5 minutes. You're absolutely bombarded by what the source material for this explainer calls breeding farm ads. Think about it. These hyper-idealized images of men with six-pack abs and women with impossible figures, and they're using them to sell you everything from candy bars to cars. It's this super-exaggerated, hyper-sexualized ideal that has almost nothing to do with a normal, healthy human body.
And this is where it gets kind of wild. You see, the modern ideal body that we're all supposed to want is often the complete opposite of what's good for biological survival. Those narrow hips you see on runways, they're actually linked to a higher risk during childbirth. Super low body fat? Well, that just weakens your immune system. If this size 0 ideal had been the standard for our ancestors, well, humanity probably wouldn't have made it.
And that just goes to show you, our idea of beauty isn't set in stone. It's constantly changing. The body we celebrate today would have been seen as unhealthy or even unattractive in other times. I mean, just think of the beautiful full-figured women celebrated in classical Ottoman paintings. It proves that what we find beautiful is mostly a cultural story we tell ourselves. It is not a biological fact.
So, if our modern ideals are so disconnected from reality, what are the real ancient signals we're still sending out and picking up on? Well, that brings us right to our next section, getting to know your inner primate.
You know, once you learn a little bit of biology, an ordinary cafe becomes the most fascinating place in the world. Seriously. You start to see that all of our complicated social dances are just built on top of these ancient primate behaviors. You're basically watching a nature documentary play out in real time.
Okay, let's take a classic example. The red sports car. It's like the ultimate symbol of modern male status, right? It's engineered to be loud, expensive, and totally impossible to ignore. It's a signal.
And what is that really? Well, it's the direct evolutionary equivalent of a macaque's bright red bottom. No joke. In the macaque world, that's an unmistakable signal of health, dominance, and good genes. The car and the bottom are doing the exact same job, screaming, "Hey, I am here, and I am a great choice." Our tech changes, but the core programming, not so much. And once you start looking, you see these exaggerated signals everywhere. Red lipstick? It mimics the natural flush of sexual arousal. High heels? They force the back to arch, which is a fertility signal in a lot of mammals. And the obsession with blonde hair? Well, our hair tends to be lighter when we're young, so it's a powerful, subconscious signal of youth and vitality. We're just using modern tools to crank up the volume on these ancient biological cues.
Okay, so we've kind of pulled apart this whole idea of beauty, but this leads us to an even bigger, more important question. Let's shift away from appearance and start redefining what it actually means to be healthy.
This is a really, really important question. We've been taught to believe there's a straight line connecting the number on the scale to our overall health, but is it really that simple? Does having some extra weight automatically make you an unhealthy person? The short answer? Absolutely not. We need a bigger, better definition of health, because true health isn't just about not being sick. It's about the harmonious alignment of your mind, your body, and your spirit, all working together. You can have a perfect body, but be totally consumed by stress, and that's not health. You can eat all the right foods but never move. That's not health either. It's the whole system working together.
So you might be thinking, but what about all the medical warnings? Look, medicine is amazing at identifying risk factors. It tells us that, on average, certain things increase the likelihood of certain outcomes, but it does not predict your personal destiny. We all know that story of someone's uncle who smoked 2 packs a day and lived to be 95. He's a total statistical outlier, but he proves that a risk factor is not a certainty.
And that right there leads us to what might be the most powerful idea in this entire explainer. The idea that our inner world, our thoughts, our beliefs, has a direct, measurable, biological impact on our physical body. This is the biology of belief.
100 trillion. That is roughly the number of cells in your body. And what's so incredible, so mind-blowing, is that every single one of them is listening. They are all tuned in to a central command center, your mind. See, every single thought you have, every worry, every moment of joy, every deep-seated belief, it isn't just some abstract thing floating around in your head. It has a real, physical, chemical signature. Your brain actually translates that thought into hormones and neurotransmitters that get released into your bloodstream.
So here's how it works. It's like a chain reaction. It starts with a belief in your mind. Then, your brain translates that belief into a chemical signal. These signals then travel to all 100 trillion of your cells with a set of instructions. And here's the kicker. When you repeat that belief, you repeat those instructions over and over again. And over time, those constant commands literally begin to reshape your body's physical reality.
Let me give you a really practical example. Imagine you're eating a piece of chicken, but the whole time you're riddled with anxiety, thinking, oh no, this is probably full of antibiotics, this is so bad for me. That feeling of anxiety triggers a powerful stress response in your body. And the stress hormones you release from that thought can literally do more damage to your body than anything that was actually in the food. Your belief about the food can make it toxic for you. So if our thoughts are that powerful, what does that really mean? It means the main control panel for changing our body isn't in the gym or at the pharmacy. It's right here, between our ears.
Just think about it for a second. What's one of the fastest, most effortless ways people lose weight? Falling in love? Nothing about their physical routine has to change, but their entire inner world is transformed. Love is a purely mental, emotional state, but it completely rewires your brain chemistry. It changes your metabolism, your appetite, your energy levels. It changes everything.
And this presents us with a really clear choice. We can take the slow path, fighting our bodies with punishing diets, with pills, with endless hours on a treadmill. Or we can take the fast path. We can go directly to the source code. We can change our beliefs, clarify our intentions, and master our emotions.
Because at the end of the day, the source material here leaves us with one powerful, provocative takeaway. While physical effort has its place, the most direct, the most rapid way to transform your physical body is to first transform your mind. Your body is always listening. The real question is, what are you telling it?